Let's think about kingdom growth. That's the focus of this parable. It's how the kingdom grows. And one of the things that we learn as we look at this text, he says in verse 26, he said, a man scatters seed on the ground. He sleeps and rises night and day, and the seed sprouts and grows, but he doesn't know how. The kingdom grows sometimes in secret ways. And sometimes it grows in subtle ways. What we see is kingdom growth in my life takes time, right? And it's only visible through particular markers, right? We don't always see it growing in our lives. He uses the illustration of planting a crop, right? Growth is taking place in this picture, but we only see it at particular moments and through particular markers, right? It's interesting. Have you ever seen an area, living here, I'm sure you have, that's been devastated by wildfires? Ever seen that? You drive by it and it's nothing but ash and dead things and dark. I remember we had a wildfire in Tampa when I was living there, and there's a place on the interstate that I would drive by regularly, and all you saw was this charred grass. But it's interesting because over time, as I looked at that charred grass week after week after week, I began to notice something. Small little green heads. In the midst of all that blackness, those were popping up. And as I would continue to drive by week after week after week, I noticed there were more and more of those green heads popping up. And those green heads weren't just heads, they were blades. And all of a sudden, I was seeing life grow up in the midst of that death. Because here's the picture. Life was underneath, right? Life was there, but it was beneath the soil. And so while the grass was dead on top, right, underneath the soil, there were seeds that were taking root and sprouting. Like that's what we see here in this text. The seed, according to this text, is invisible. It's under the soil, but eventually it sprouts. And over time, we notice it gets bigger, and then we begin to see it mature with either a flower or a pod, or as this text says, an ear. And eventually those ears or those pods or those flowers, they open and they grow, and then they produce small fruit. That fruit gets bigger, and then we see more fruit, right? That's the process of growth. And then at some point, and we'll talk about this at the end, at some point we harvest it. And so here's the grand picture of this story. We look at a short parable here. We're looking at the rule and the reign of Christ in our life and how we grow in that through a relationship with Him. And here's what you need to be encouraged with. Growth isn't noticeable daily, but over time, it is noticeable. There's a difference, right? There's a difference.